I'm working on the little mandrel now. What I did is I chucked it up on this diameter and I skint this true because there was it looked like at some time in this at one point this thing had been turned and it had been turned from the other side, so I was afraid it wasn't going to hold it nice and true. So I just skint that, and now I'm going to go ahead and true it up, and we'll do some facing and machine some threads on the OD here. Man, that's pretty close already. Okay, we're about a half a thou. That's pretty close there. Okay, I'm about 5/8 thick. I'm going to go ahead and face it to I guess 7/16 thick there. I might take it down a little bit more. Okay, about 552. Alright, so 110. Take another 16. Alright, so we'll go about 50, 55. You know, I'm going to need a little bit of room to chamfer, so I'll probably just go ahead and do this. Might just go ahead and make it 3/8. Yeah, I'm going to make this 3/8 long, so let me do some more facing. We'll bring you back when I'm ready to thread. Alright guys, I'm ready to do the threading on the OD here, 16 pitch. I want to point out I'm using a different threading tool than I normally do. This is my TNMC 32NV insert. It's the stand-up style. For the life of me, I cannot find my regular everyday threading tool. It's the style insert that lays flat, and I have looked everywhere and I can't find it, man. It's like it just vanished. I've been digging on the machines and on my little cart here, and I don't know where it's at, man. So it's probably right in front of me and I'm just not seeing it. So we'll just go with this one. I've had a lot worse luck using this style insert. They want to snap off sometimes. So hopefully I can get through this one and it won't break on me. Okay, CD1. Zero. Okay, 0. Red pitch gauge. All right. I would thread it a little faster than this, but that's coming up to that shoulder. 35. All right, let's check it. Just got to be careful. It's got a sharp edge on that back side there. Well, that was it there. Okay. All right, well, got the threading done. I was hoping to sneak up on it, but that's actually got a good fit. Okay, I got it on there, and what I did, I've got a brass pipe wrench, and I got that hoping that I wouldn't mar it up too bad. It did catch it right there. It left a little ding on it there, but I wanted to make sure that it's going to be on there snug enough that when I go to mill it, that it's not going to try to it wasn't going to try to come off there. So I hope I got it tight, and with facing it, I was hoping it would tighten it up some also. All right, so we should have about a 1/16, a little less than a 1/16, so we got about 50 thousandths. So we'll make a cut. Okay, we've got about 30 to come off. Alright, I think I'll leave that for the chamfer. If I need to, I'll do some hand dressing on that side of the thread there. I'll just flip my tool around a little bit more. We'll hit this other side. Alright. Get that burr right there. Get that thing off. Alright. So, alright, I'm going to set the mill machine up. I decided I'm going to use the super spacer. We'll use that, come in there and mill our notches. There was one important detail that I almost forgot. What I wanted to do was actually take the nut back off and install it here. And you see this is what we're working at. And I went ahead and found a new bolt because somebody has turned this one, and of course I don't know if that's factory or if somebody's done that, but it's definitely been turned on the OD. So I found a new 3/8/16 Allen cap head bolt, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in there, and I'm going to make a little scribe mark, and then I'll be able to measure it and see how deep I need to mill it when I come in with my end mill. So I'm going to make a little blue mark. We're going to use the little pilot marker that Chuck gave me. A lot of ink come out of that thing. I'll just run this down by hand, and that may mark it right there, but what I'm going to do is take my scriber. I'm just going to make a mark on here, like so. And now I'll be able to measure that with my calipers and see what we need to take off. It's not a lot. I could have made the OD of that thing a little bigger. I just didn't want it too tight or interfering with the bolt, which I think I hit it on the right mark though, because that's right up against the thread. Okay, -1. So we're gonna have okay, so looking like about 1/8 of an inch. So we'll probably go in there like 125 thousandths, and I think that'll clear the bolt. So now let me go set up the mill. Okay, we got it set up on the spacer, then got it centered, and then I just moved it off to the side. I am worried that it's going to try to unscrew this thing. I just hope that I got it tight enough that it won't do it. We're not going very deep, but we do have a lot of surface that we're cutting at one time. So I don't know. I'm hoping that it's going to work out. So I'm going to touch off and I'm going to move it in 120 thousandths. And we'll be indexing every 30 degrees. So here we go. Doesn't seem to like that wide radius there. We may just end up doing it like this right here. Okay. All right, the first one worked out. It looks like I'm right up on my scratch mark. Okay. By the way, this is a 9/16 end mill. The head of the bolt is 9/16, and I remeasured after I showed it to you, and it looked like 125 was going to be actually a little too deep, so that's why I backed it off. I'm just going to go 120. Okay. All right, I'm already on 180, so I got to index it every 30. So we'll go to 21 or 210 degrees. And you know what? We might try the little Keith Fenner hand wheel technique on this. Get it down here close. Okay. Man, I screwed that up. Ain't pretty no more. Well, that wasn't one of my proudest moments right there. It actually did what I was afraid that it was going to try to do. So, you know, the right thing to do is to start over and make another one. At this point, I don't feel like making another one because I got too much other crap to take care of. What I'm going to do with this, I'm just going to go ahead, because this is mine, I'm going to try to sacrifice this piece. I mean, I'm going to try to save it is what I'm going to do instead of sacrificing it and starting over. I went ahead and got a big pipe wrench and tightened this sucker up nice and tight on that mandrel. And I just made another cut and it worked. So I'm going to go ahead with it and see if I can get them all machined. And once I do, I'll put this back up in the mill and we'll make a face cut. I might just clean the OD up a little bit, and we'll put this side, you know, to the inside of the outboard support where you don't really see it. And I don't think much of it will be seen. So it did chip the corner of the end mill, so I flipped it over. And I've made another cut, so I'm gonna feed it in very gently. That first cut seemed to work good. I fed it in about 100 thousandths. It's trying to squeak quite a bit, so then I raised the tool up, I fed the table over another 20 thousandths, and then just brought it down with the quill. I think what had happened was I was playing around with this hand wheel. I was gonna crank it down, and I wasn't watching what I was doing, and I came down and I actually hit it too hard, and it tried to dig in. And I was trying to stop it, but there was too much going on at one time, and by the time it flung it out of the machine. So, all right, so we're going to keep going on it, see if we can finish this thing up. All right. Okay. All right, there's 120. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and set up my cool mist because that is quite a bit of rubbing that tool's doing. Okay, this should be my last one coming up here. Okay, that all worked out. The spacing worked out good. 12. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take this piece out And I'm going to go back to the lathe, and I'm going to make a face cut, and we might just skin the OD to kind of clean the burrs up, and then we'll come back to the mill and go ahead and put us a few holes in it. We'll probably do 6 holes maybe. All right, let's try to clean up my failure. All right, face looks better there. Okay, I think that'll work. Come back and chamfer that corner again. All right, well, that's about as good as it's gonna get. It ain't real pretty, but it's still gonna be functional though. All right, I got her set up again in the spacer. What I'm gonna do is drill 6 1/4-inch holes, just some shallow holes. And what that'll do is give me a spot that I can stick a pin like this. This is a proto pin punch of mine. I'll be able to use this and stick it in that hole to adjust this nut. What I was wanting to use is a pin spanner wrench like this one here that I use for my 5C collet block. This is the only size I have right now. It says it's good for up to 3 inches, so it might still work. It might work on this. Really what I need is the next size up, but we'll give it a shot. So go ahead and get started on it. We're going to do 6 holes. That'd be every 60 degrees. About like that. Okay. All right, so I'm 180. I'll go to 240, and we'll repeat. All right, got to do this 6 times. And we'll be ready to go. I'll bring you back. All right, guys. I think I about got this thing ready to put together. All right, so there's the new nut that I made, and you can kind of see what's left of the carnage from the fail that I made on the milling machine. But overall, it turned out pretty good. And as I said, we'll put it to the inside, and you'll never know it. So, all right, I just cut me a fresh 1/4-inch keyway, and that goes in the bushing. Also, keeps the bushing from spinning. So let's go ahead and install that. Oh, by the way, I was going to point out too that my pin spanner right here did work unscrewing it. So this can be used to adjust it. So I think this will work out fine. I can also use my pin punch if I need to. You get under there and turn it with a pin punch. There's not a lot of adjustment that you got to make once you get it set. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll stick the key in there. Go ahead and kind of slide her in. All right, put the carnage side down. Okay, and I'll do some fine tuning on this thing. Just for now, I'll go ahead and get it to where and put the cap head bolt in it. Once we get it set, put the cap head bolt. It keeps the nut from moving. And it did turn out to be a pretty close fit on that radius. I could have backed off probably 10 thousandths, so it would have been right there on it. So you can just tighten that up, and that's all it does, is keeps the nut from moving either direction there. So there it is. So we can finally go ahead and put this overarm support to use. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get it fitted and try to get this bushing adjusted to where it's running on this steel bushing properly. And we may, once we do that, we may make some more test cuts on the mill. Alright, well, I've made a fine adjustment on the bushing, got it on the arbor securely. I think I've got it pretty tight, or not tight, but I've got it adjusted to where it's a very close tolerance to the steel running bushing. And I went ahead and I just fed it in there just a little bit, and I think that this outboard support is doing the trick for me. The one I was using before that was out here just is not providing enough rigidity for a larger cutter. So we're gonna go ahead and make another little cut manually. I'll hand crank it through there, and you can see this is a 3/4 wide cutter, 6-inch diameter. Alright, well, I was able to finally make it through this piece with that 3/4 wide milling cutter there, and the repaired outboard support made a big difference. This size running out here on the end of the mandrel, that was a big deal there with the rigidity. So I can see my second half of the cut in here. It actually looks better than the first half. Whenever I tried using this cutter with the style lathe support, and it was had a lot of chatter, a lot of noise, so I knew that it wasn't enough support for this. One of the problems that I think that I'm still having with this setup right here is the actual arbor itself has a bend in it, and I know that because without the spool in there, I turned it on and I could see this end out here moving a little bit. So I think it's actually kind of in a bind right now, and that's why that cutter is cutting a little heavy on one side whenever it's coming around. But we'll, you know, if that's the case, we'll be on the search for another arbor. Hopefully, the one that I got from Ben, the 1.25 inch, now it seems to be nice and straight. He checked it for me before he sent it, and then when I had it in the lathe, it was running nice and straight. So the 1.25 inch is the one I'm hoping to be running more whenever I'm using this instead of the 1 inch. So. But anyway, you know, I'm happy about getting this new spanner type nut for the bushing done. And besides the epic fail that I had, I was able to save it, and it worked out. And you can look at it right here; you can't even tell. So that kind of it all worked out in the end. So we're well on our way to get this machine ready to run. Still got a lot to do, and it's slowly coming together. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this project here, and be on the lookout for some more. We'll keep them coming, okay? See you guys later.